Friends, welcome back to Digitalk. So as you all know that the WebLogic 14.120 has been released. Okay. So in this session, we are going to install and create a domain in WebLogic 14.102, and then we'll see what is the difference in comparison with the earlier versions, specifically in terms of the installation and the domain configuration. Right. So first, let me tell you quickly how you can download the software and then how you can check the certification metrics. Okay, so to download the software, you can directly go to the edelivery.oracle.com. Okay, you can create a free account there. And after creating the free account, you will end up on this particular page. Okay, and here you can select the categories as a release. And here you can search for WebLogic server. And from Dropbox, you can select the Oracle WebLogic server. So at the top, you will see the 14.120 version. Click on this version and it will be added in your cart, which you can see here. Okay, and specifically for this 14.120, it is certified on the JDK 17 and 20 onwards, 21 onwards. Okay, so let me show you as well. For that, you can check the certification metrics for the certified JDK. This is the URL for that. You can get this URL from the description of this video, or you can search for the Fusion Middleware certification directly in the Google, and you will end up on this particular page. Right. So go to here, and then here you have a certification metrics link for all the Fusion Middleware versions. So now we are checking for the 14.120. So for that, you have to click on this XLS. The file will be downloaded in your system. Click on open. So this is the certification metrics for this 14.120 version. Okay. You can go to the system, or rather you can go to the client. And here you will see the WebLogic server 14.120, and the corresponding certified JDK is 17.0.12 plus and 21.0.4 plus. Okay, so these are the certified JDK. Okay, for your WebLogic 4.120. So you can again go back to your delivery, and here you can search for the Oracle JDK and search for the Oracle JDK. You will see all the versions are listed here. Now, specifically, if you see which is the certified one, so you can see 17.0.12. Okay, and you can go here. So this is 17.0.12, or the latest one is 17.0.13. So you can download any one. Okay, so if you would like to go for 17, then click on this one. If you would like to go with the 21 or latest one, so go back here and you can see 21.0.4 plus. That means .4 plus versions. So let me go here and you can see this is the 21.0.4, and the latest one on top of that 21.0.5. So you can click on any whatever you would like to download. For example, 21.0.5. It will also add it to your cart. Right. So when it is done, you can click on continue. So here you can select the corresponding operating system for which you are downloading. Okay. For example, it is for Microsoft Windows. Select the Windows. Do it for the WebLogic as well, along with the JDK. Click on continue. Okay. And then click on the agreement. Click on continue. Now to download it on Windows machine. Okay. You can click on the download. Okay. This will download a small file in your system, a downloader in a system which you can initiate for the installation. Right, this is downloaded. You can click on this open. So here you can select the location on which you would like to download and click on next. So once you will click on next, it will initiate the download. Right, now you can see that it is initiating the download. So it is already downloaded in my system, so I am not going to download it. I am going to cancel it because it is already downloaded. Right, so this is how you can download the WebLogic and the supported JDK, and how you can validate the certification metrics to check which is the certified JDK. Right. So now once you have downloaded, okay, you have to first install the WebLogic server, and then we'll create the domain. Okay. So let me show you one more thing. If you have selected the Linux as an OS system, okay, and you would like to download this installer directly on the Linux system, so for that you have an option to wget. So once you click on this wget, okay, it will download a script for you, which is the name download.sh. You can click on this one. You can see this script has been downloaded. Open this one. So this is a script which you can use to download directly in your Linux system. Okay, and so what you can do, you can just copy and paste and create a script in your Linux system with the name of same, either download.sh. Copy paste this content there, and then you can run this script. It will prompt you for the username and password. Okay, and you have to use the same username and password which you have used to log in here in your EDW portal. Okay, so let me see if username is there. No. So, okay, you have to provide the username and password once you will run this script. Okay, and once authentication is successful, your softwares will directly download on your Linux system. So this is the way how you can download directly on your Windows machine, as well as with the help of wget you can directly download on your Linux machines. I have downloaded my softwares. So installing the JDK is very straightforward. If you're in a Windows, then you can directly execute, double click on the bin, this exe file or the MSC file, and you can provide the location of your JDK. Okay, and if you're on Linux, then you need to extract this zip file. Okay, that's it. So so we are on the Windows machine. Okay, and I have done with the installation of my JDK by double click on this one. So I'm not going to reinitiate this one. It's a very straightforward, right? So now to download to install your WebLogic. Okay, for that you have to go to the prompt, go to the location where you have the installer. Then you have to give the command java-jar. Why jar? Because this is a generic installer. The same installer is applicable for the Linux machine, and same installer we use for the Windows machine as well. Okay, and the command is same java-jar and the name of your installer. Okay, so it will take some time to launch the installer. It will do some pre-checks of your operating system. Okay, so once all good, it will initiate the installer for the installation. Now you can see that the installer has been passed, and now you have now all the pre-checks has been done, right? So now okay, now you can see the installer has been begin. It will take some time. Okay, and now you can see this is the first screen for the installation. This is the welcome screen. This is the same exactly that we have seen for the earlier versions as well. Click on next. Again, this is the same screen. You can skip for the auto updates. And here we have to specify our location for the installation, which is called the Oracle Home. Okay, so let me give a location for the installation. So this is the location that I am giving for the installation. Click on next. Okay, so we are going with the WebLogic server. So go with the default option, click on next. It is checking for the certification of your operating system. Click on next. And this is the summary of the item that is going to be installed in this WebLogic server version, right? So that means the installation is almost same that we have seen for the previous version till 14.1.1. Okay, there is no difference. Click on install. So again, based on your system configurations, it is going to take some time for the installation. Okay, so now you can see that the installation has been completed successfully. Okay, click on next. Here is the summary of the installation, and then click on finish. Okay, so now you can see that after installation, it has automatically started the configuration wizard for you if you would like to configure the domain. Okay, so we are going for the configuration of the domain, so we are fine with that one. If you don't want to go with that as of now, we can cancel this one, and later you can start with the help of config.sh or cmd on the Windows command. Let me show you that as well. Let me cancel this one, and let me show you the installation. So this is the location where we have installed the 14.120, right? And so once you are sure that now you have to configure the domain, so for that you can go to the Oracle common bin directory, and then here you have to double click on the config.cmd in Windows. If you are on the Linux, then you have to use the config.sh. So let me double click on config.cmd to create the domain. So it will take some time to initiate the wizard for you. Okay. Okay, so now we are going to create a new domain. So we have to go with the first option. We have to create a new domain, and this is a location that we have to specify. Okay, so let me give here WLS 14.1.2 domain. Okay, this is the name that I have given for the domain, right? So let us click on next. And one thing, let me tell you that when we create the domain, okay, it is not best practice to create the domain inside the WebLogic installation location or inside the Oracle Home. Okay, so whenever you are working for any of the professional environment, make sure to install it separately outside your Oracle Home. Okay, it is not recommended. So for demo purpose, I am going with the same inside the middleware home. Okay, so this is a location that I have given for the domain. Click on next. So we have to go with the basic WebLogic server domain, which is 14.120 template. Click on next. Okay, and here we have to specify the username and password for the admin console. Okay, and let me tell you one thing here. In the 14.120, the traditional admin console has been depreciated. Okay, that is no longer available. So now we have to go with a remote console tool, which is an open source tool from the Oracle, which we can use to manage multiple domains from a single location. Okay, that means with the help of remote console tool, you can register multiple domains and then you can manage all the domains from a single location. So the traditional admin console for each and every domain that we have as of today, that is now depreciated. You are not able to access that one, right? So I have given the username and password. So this is the screen where we have some difference in comparison with the earlier versions. So the two things which is same is we have a two mode here, development and production mode for creation of your domain. Okay, so once we are selecting the development mode, you can see that enable listen port non-SSL. So for development, we can have the non-SSL port enabled and the default SSL configurations are disabled by default. If you would like to go with the SSL configurations as well, then you have option, you can choose that one. Okay, but by default, when you select the development mode, the SSL port or SSL mode will be disabled automatically, right? And if you select for the production mode, okay, in the production mode, now you can see that it has automatically selected the SSL configurations and disabled the non-SSL configurations. So this is one of the change that has been introduced in 14.120. Okay, these options you are not able to see in the previous versions. Okay, so this is now the recommended settings. You have to go with the SSL configurations when you select the production domain. Okay, however, you have option, you can disable it as well. Okay, if you don't want to go with SSL, you can disable it, but by default when you select the production mode, the SSL configuration will be enabled. Okay, and non-SSL will be disabled. Okay, and if you would like to disable the secure mode for production as well, then you can select this option, but at that time you will get this information. The Oracle recommend that you deselect the disable secure mode option for the production. Okay, because for production it is always recommended to have a SSL configuration in place. Okay, whether it is a third party certificate or whether you go with the demo certificates. Okay, but it is always recommended to have a secure mode for the production. So this is one of the new configuration that has been introduced here. Okay, so I am first going with the development mode. For development, it is going to enable the non-SSL port automatically for you. And this is the same location of the 21.0.5 or JDK, which I have used for the installation. So it is automatically selected. If you would like to go with a different location, then you can select here as well. Okay, then click on next. So now here you have a different options to configure your domain resources. So I'm going to select all. Okay, let me click on next. So here you can see that this is the name of your admin server, and here you can select the listen port for your admin server, and here you can see that you have a enable listen port. Here you have the default port is 7001 for the non-SSL. Okay, and this SSL port is completely disabled here. If you would like to enable it, you can enable it from here as well. Okay, so now click on next. So again, the node manager configuration, we are going with a per domain node manager. That means for each and every domain, we will have a separate node manager. Okay, so let me give a username and password for node manager as well. Then click on next. So here, let me add one managed server. Let me give the name ms_1. I'm going with the default port. Click on next. Okay, and let me add a cluster. And let me give the name cluster_1. Click on next. So we are not going with any server template. Click on next. So this is the cluster configuration. So this is the dynamic cluster configurations here. Click on next. So here you can assign your managed server to the cluster. Click next. Here you can add a machine. So let me give a name machine_1, which is going to be listened on the port 5556 and localhost. If you would like to disable the SSL, you can select the plane here. I am going with the default one, which is SSL. Click next. So here you can assign your managed server to machine. Click on next. So this is the complete configuration of the domain that we are going to create with one managed server. We have one admin server and we have a cluster. Okay, so now we can click on the create option to create the domain. So now if we compare it with the previous versions, what is the difference that we have seen? We have only seen one difference, that when we select the domain mode where we have a development and production, then one option is by default enabled there for the secure configuration of your domain. That means once we are going to select the production mode, it will automatically select the secure configuration. That means the SSL configuration for you. And if you are going to select the development mode, it will only select the non-SSL port for you. So that is the only difference that we have seen during the creation of a domain in comparison with the previous versions. So now you can see that the domain has been created. Click on next and click on finish. So now we are done with the domain. So now I will start the services. For that, I will go to my domain. Okay, let me go to the domain. So this is the Oracle home. Inside that I have created a folder WLS 1412 domain. Let me go to the bin and let me first start my node manager. Okay, node manager started. So now I am going to start the admin server. Start weblogic.cmd. Okay, so now this is in the development mode, so it is not going to prompt me for username and password. Okay, so this is the default behavior that we have seen for the previous versions as well. Okay, so now you can see that the server is up and running. So now I will show you one of the major difference here. Okay, now if you go to the accessing the your admin console with the help of localhost colon 7001 slash console. So now here you can see that administration of WebLogic server is performed using WebLogic remote console. The original admin console is no longer supported in WebLogic 4.1.2 and has been removed. So that means you are not able to access the traditional admin console that we have seen so far. We have been using till 14.1.10. Okay, so that means now you have to manage your domain with the help of WebLogic remote console tool. Right. So here you have it has been given a link from where you can download the remote console tool. You can click on this one. You will land up on the release page. Okay, this is an open source tool from the Oracle to manage the multiple domains from a single location. So here, based on your operating system, you can download the particular software. So for Windows, you can download the exe. If you're on a Linux machine, you can download the linux.zip file. Okay, so this is must to access the admin console. So I have downloaded it in my local system. Let me go to the location. So this is the installer for the Windows.exe and this is the installer for the Linux. Right. So let me open this one, double click on this exe for the installation. Okay, so this is option specifically for Windows. You would like this software to be installed for only for the current user or for the all users. Click on next. This is the location for the installation. Click on the install. Okay, it will take some time. It's a very small tool. Okay, it will take some time for the installation. It is getting installed. Now it is completed. So click on finish. So once it is installed, if you are in a Windows machine, then you can click on your programs and then you can search for this WebLogic remote console. Click on this one. Okay, so now you can see the remote desktop console is getting initialized. The first time it is going to take some time for the initialization. So this is the console for the remote console for your WebLogic. Okay, so with the help of this WebLogic remote console, you can manage the multiple domains from the single location. So far we have admin console for each and every domain, which is separate, right? And if you would like to access the multiple domains at a single time, okay, for any kind of activities, then you have to access the multiple consoles, right, in a different browsers. So now with the help of this tool, you can access it from a single location. That means you can access the multiple domains. So you can register the multiple domains here inside the providers, okay, and then you can access the multiple domains from this single tool. Okay, so this is one of the domain that has been registered. Let me click delete it. So now we don't have any domain. So once you will initialize this tool, you will get this prompt. Now to add a console, admin console here, or you can say to add admin domain here, you have to select the first option, which is add admin server connection provider. Choose this one. So here you can give a name for that. So let me give a name, dev domain, which we have created. So let me give the username that we have given during the creation of the domain, and this is the password. Okay, and this is the default URL, right, which we use for the access of the admin console, which is by default run on the port 7001. Okay, and when we try to access the port or the console with the help of this default URL, okay, now you can see when we try to access the console with the help of this 7001 port in the traditional way, right, we have landed upon this page to download the remote console, right? So now once it is done, you can click on OK. It will contact your running admin server. This is our admin server in this case, which is running on port 7001. Okay, it will take some time to connect, and when it is connected, you will see the domain has been listed here. Now you can see we are able to connect with the dev domain. This is the name that we have given. Okay, and here now you can see we have an edit tree, configuration view tree, monitoring tree, and the security data tree. So there's a different purpose for each and every tab. So edit tree, if you would like to modify any configuration of your domain. This is to view the configuration of your domain. This is to monitor the different kind of resources in your domain. And this is for the security data, right? If you are aware about the security realms, right? We have a security tab in the default admin console, okay, and where we have a security realms, right? So this is the security data tree. This is specifically for the security. And all these three options are there as on the left hand side as well. So this is the edit tree. This is your configuration view tree. This is your monitoring tree, and this is your security data tree. So we have learned how to install the WebLogic 14.120 and then how to create the domain and what are the difference we have seen in comparison with the previous version and specifically in the 14.120 where we have seen that during the domain creation when we select the domain mode, okay, there we have some difference to have one more option is enabled for the SSL configurations for the production mode, and along with that the default or we can say the traditional admin console has now been depreciated, and for that we have to use the WebLogic remote console. Okay, so now in the next session we will explore this WebLogic remote console, how to create and manage the different resources in your domain with the help of this remote console. Thank you.